I just realized, like, before when I was describing that, people probably think our game is going to be horrible because me saying, like, oh, yeah, we could just make the game where it interprets sentences and discovers how motivational they are as just, like, the fact that I'm just a totally incompetent ideas guy who has no idea how to actually do stuff.
It's once again, it's been great to have you, Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
Hey there, welcome to Character Select, a show where each episode we take a break from making real video games to bring you the patch notes on a less than real and less than ideal video game character. Kind of like one you'd find in a competitive multiplayer game, so their backstory, their gameplay mechanics, and we are making this all up on the spot. Mm-hmm. Nowhere was that more apparent than our last episode, Mark.
Yeah, assuming these are in chronological order.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a rough one.
It's a flying grandma. There's a hint.
So who are you, Mark?
I'm Mark. I am a software developer, write code and things, and right now Brooks and I are collaborating on a game featuring his characters, so that'll be cool. We'll talk about that as it progresses,
Sweet.
project-wise. But today we're going to be just taking a break from trying to create actually interesting characters and stuff like that to create a weird character. So what we did is we wrote down a bunch of character traits and abilities and things like that beforehand, and both of us don't know what each other has written down, and we're going to pitch one idea one at a time, and the other person has to incorporate that into the character. So for instance, I'll say my idea, and Brooks has to take that, develop it into something as part of the character. And this is all going to be just one character that we're working on, and we'll see what we end up with.
Nice. And
at the end, Brooks will illustrate it, and I'll write up a little bio for it, and you'll be able to check it out online.
Yeah. So if you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, on Character Design Forge, the illustration and the process and that final product will be a part of the end of the video. So if you're not already there, head over to YouTube.
Cool.
Check that out.
Or you could check the show notes.
Exactly. So, Mark, I think you've gone first the last few times. Would you maybe, should I go first?
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
This one?
Okay, you go.
So here's my first card. Ratatouille-esque hair control of motor function.
What? Hair control?
Yeah.
Ratatouille-esque hair control of motor function?
So...
What?
Have you seen Ratatouille?
Yeah.
So he's standing on his head and he uses his hair to control him.
Oh, right. Now I forgot about the aspect of the film entirely.
Yeah, you just remembered Anton Ego and the good-looking food, and then you remembered there is a very fantastical element of that film.
There's actually...
Beyond the rat just making food.
Yeah, all I remember from that film really is a lady character walking into the kitchen, and they're turning the lights on, and there's rats everywhere, like cooking stuff. And then they all look at her, and she freaks out, and they all run.
Right.
And then the food critic.
I feel like...
Which is what I always think of when I read movie reviews.
Exactly, yeah. It's forever tainted in a very good way, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
It was an aspect of the movie that you went into the movie going, okay, it's a rat who cooks food. So your belief was suspended there. But I think this was an element that made me go like,
what?
Kind of like Brave did that too. It was like,
I didn't see Brave.
She turns into a bear? What the heck? Like, I was already okay with like Will o' the Wisps and all this.
It's a little too far.
He controls him with his hair. So go ahead, Mark.
All right. Wow. So you've lifted that idea out of Ratatouille, and now we got to put it into our own character.
Plagiarization.
Okay. Well, I'm picturing a smaller character, two characters. Mm-hmm. One is sort of like a big, brutish, tankish kind of character. Yeah. And the other guy is riding him or lady and pulling on their ears or hair or something like that to get him to do stuff.
Cool.
So kind of like they're driving them around.
Nice. We have a duo character situation. Nice.
You good with that?
I'm so good with that.
Okay, great.
Hit me with your first shot.
There's an app for that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Your first idea. You decided to write down there's an app for that as your first Mark?
No, please.
This is fake anger. I'm totally fine with it. There's an app for that. So is there an app for controlling people?
Ooh. She could be controlling this bear thing with an app.
Yeah. From on top of the head. I mean, they're already on top of their head pulling their hair to.
Should we trade the
ear.
hair pulling for an app and someone just sort of sitting cross-legged on their legs and they're just like using a remote control app?
Yeah.
It's not very interesting.
Not very. I like it. It's more literal when they're pulling. So what else can we use the app for? Is the purpose of our two characters to find and review restaurants that are two character accessible, that are bright with.
I'm just making the most extreme cringe faces right now because I
1 star did not accept me on top of a giant person. Did not wait on us.
I don't think that's it.
What else are there apps of?
Well, you could order things.
It's true.
You can use apps to social network.
Okay, like an Uber or a delivery service. Are these characters delivering stuff?
They're a
for
delivery
you?
service.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sweet.
Okay,
That's
great.
pretty cool.
Nice.
That's a loose interpretation of that, but I'm cool with it.
Yeah, very cool.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, your turn.
So they're the face of this app.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
sweet.
Cool. What?
My second idea is Mars needs Meatloaf.
Why are all of these spoofs off of animated movies?
I'm in a weird place today.
Okay. Mars placed an order for some meatloafs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're taking the consumer citizen level rocket bus to Mars. It's kind of awkward for them because that's sort of designed for regular human passengers, but or human size.
Yeah.
But instead they're both trying to. She has this big like beast character with her.
Well, maybe our big character is like prone is able to travel in space, and that's why she's controlling him.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I mean, that's not what you're saying.
Yeah, well, that makes more sense. Because why else does she control this giant beast?
Right. Because he's sort of like less than sentient a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So he's kind of like a living spaceship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're delivering Meatloaf to Mars with very uncanny valley motion capture, just to celebrate Mars Needs Mom as a film, which I'm so glad I didn't see.
The only thing I remember from that movie is the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
good for you.
Wouldn't know. All right.
I'm happy for you.
Cool. So they're a delivery service.
Yeah.
But interplanetary.
Right.
Very cool.
They're representing an app, that you could just.
Yeah.
You're on a different planet and you're like, I could really go for some meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So
the app is called Meatloaf Me.
From a gameplay perspective, they're in a little bit of a hurry. Like they're trying to expedite their delivery process. They're in demand and they're trying to get a good rating, like a good review. Like an Uber driver is trying to get a 5-star review all the time. So maybe you can kind of be graded on your ability to travel. Like you can make the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs. You know?
Well, yeah, there could be a thing. Well, I read one time in the science book that most of the planets are on the ecliptic plane of the of the sun.
Gotcha.
So they're sort of like if you see a drawing of the solar system, that's kind of accurate. They're pretty much almost like on a disk with a lot of variation.
Their orbits aren't on very different axes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's not like an atom. Like the solar system doesn't look like an atom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like above that is a lot of empty space. And so theoretically you could skirt a lot of obstacles by going up and down, like kind of like you do with Earth. But there's
planet hopping.
But maybe there's like aliens up there or something.
Yeah.
So that could be your sort of Kessel run kind of thing. That they're great because they do deliveries going up into the out of the ecliptic plane and back.
Yeah.
But this company runs into there's some complications with this model because there's some weird alien boogers up there that want to kill us or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's I like that a lot. So it's basically a jumping, like our big character could literally be jumping. With legs,
that's tight. Yeah.
But like across the ecliptic plane.
I'm just picturing them like going incredibly fast. But the creature being furry, so the hair is like ruffling like at extreme velocities.
Yeah.
And she's just like holding on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fuzzy celestial beast.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. So from a gameplay perspective, we already have like a cross map jump.
Right.
which is pretty
You're
sweet.
just jumping from planet to planet. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I like this.
Like, it doesn't have any thrusters or anything.
yeah,
For some reason, it can just
yeah.
Just
He's
jump.
he's a, I guess, organic or biological planet hopper, which is pretty sweet.
literally planet hopping.
Yeah.
That is cool. Are we making an okay character, Brooks?
Oh, we're
we
redeeming
fall into
ourselves.
this trap where we
As long as what happened last time doesn't happen
Yeah.
again, I'll be okay.
Okay.
Even though I think that was entertaining.
Okay, ready for my
Yeah.
second idea?
Yeah, go for it.
Friend of fluffy animals,
Okay.
which ties in with the big animal being fluffy,
Yeah.
and maybe it has buddies,
Yeah.
and maybe. Well, okay, sorry. You go.
For every they're doing a Tom's kind of thing where every pair of Toms you buy, you get a pair of shoes to a kid in need. It's like a percentage of your Meatloaf order goes to helping little fuzzy intergalactic creatures that are being plagued by space booger enemies.
Okay. Like a charity?
Yeah, every percentage of you say your idea again. Likes likes fuzzy
Friend of fluffy animals.
friend of fluffy animals.
When I wrote that, I was picturing like a Disney princess.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe these fluffy animals, because we're going from this like biological FTL type stuff.
You're right.
Maybe these fuzzy animals are kind of like your pinball bumpers of like in space. You're able to, like, the reason they're so good at this is they're like, he jumps into space and then like aims for and bounces off of these fluffy space creatures that like help speed them, like ricocheting off into.
Wow. Okay. So they went above the ecliptic plane
Right.
and discovered a race of fluffy creatures
Yes.
that they can use to ping pong their way to planets.
Who amplify their speed, yeah.
Somehow.
And in a gameplay
Their
setting,
fluffy fur carries an electric charge.
yes.
Or something that like sparks you in the right direction.
I'll pretend that was exactly what I was thinking.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, gameplay-wise, you kind of can set up these little fuzzy guys across the map so that later on you can use them as charge points.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't know what that's like. I was gonna say, what was it like? Air control? Remember the game? But that's more of like you're controlling. Nah, it's not like that at all.
No, but it's
Anyway.
like you're laying down the foundation of
Right.
some extra stuff later on, and enemies can come up and like discover them and get rid of them and stuff. But
Sure.
they help you out. These kind of little pylons of fuzzy assistance.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right,
Nice.
we're getting our groove back, Mark.
Very cool. Yeah.
We're boring people again. This is great.
All right.
My third idea is crow's nest.
Huh. So I'm picturing this beast she's riding on as being a lot bigger, and maybe there's a crew, like kind of like an airship, like the Hindenburg Zeppelin, where you have big floating device,
Right.
flotation thing, but underneath there's the part where the humans live.
Yeah.
And maybe on this creature's back or belly or something, there's something like that.
Right.
And she's in the crow's nest,
Yeah.
wayfinding
Right.
these creatures and maybe communicating with them where to go, or
Yeah.
relaying to the captain which ones to use.
Right. Well, and she is sort of already like either literally or metaphorically pulling the hair. like, to
Right. Yeah.
control. Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's where she's controlling from, is the crow's nest.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It-
All right.
Did you use your third?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. I feel as we keep doing the show, we keep coming up with ideas that are like longer and longer ideas.
Yeah.
Like you really just want it to be this one specific thing, don't you? Okay. My last one is extensive library of motivational quotes.
Ooh. Yeah. It's good from like a personality standpoint. As you're playing, you just keep getting amped up.
Yeah. So does the character have a mental library, or is it a literal library? What do you think?
Ooh. A literal library of motivational quotes. Are we looking at this from like a tragic backstory standpoint?
We could. It's up to you.
They
It's in
acquired
your
so
hands.
many motivational quotes
Uh-huh.
that they became paralyzed.
What?
they became paralyzed. The creature became paralyzed from motivational quotes. He was so fired up, but had no direction to go in until this smaller creature came along and directed where his jumps should go.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid.
I'm just picturing this big, like, furry beast,
Yeah.
like, bounding from, like, other smaller furry beast to furry beast. Like, yeah, we could do it. You know, you only...
Maybe
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Maybe the success with which she's able to control the creature is how good the motivational quote is. She's controlling him via motivational quotes.
Yeah.
But if it is like, yesterday you said today, so just do it, he's just like,
I heard that one before. Cool.
Don't let your dreams be memes. Like she messes it up, you know.
It's like falls out of orbit and into the sun.
Yeah.
That was my last idea. You're done with your ideas.
Done with my ideas.
So we're on to the refinement portion where we make this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying like the first phase of the mission is to get the mission so you know where to go.
Yeah.
And direct the fuzzy booster points where to be so you can bounce off of them.
So that you get a 5-star review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the more motivational quotes you send the beast's way, the faster he moves in like a straight line.
Right.
So you might not want to move as fast during some parts, so you can like arc into another one.
Right.
But some parts you want to bounce off really strong, so you just feed him the best quotes you have.
Yeah.
And maybe at that point it's kind of like a little puzzle game where you have like a bunch of different words.
Right.
And you gotta like drag and drop them into like a sentence. Oh my god.
What a great minigame.
This is complicated.
So great. I just am realizing so much mobility to this character, but like I don't see how they're necessarily harming enemies or in the competitive phase of this. But what if the meatloaf that they're delivering is great for Martians but toxic for...
I just realized, like, before when I was describing that, people probably think our game is going to be horrible because me saying, like, oh, yeah, we could just make the game where it interprets sentences and discovers how motivational they are as just, like, the fact that I'm just a totally incompetent ideas guy who has no idea how to actually do stuff.
It's once again, it's been great to have you, Peter Molyneux.
Yeah. There you go.
Our game is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
So far.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're onto something with that drag and drop, create new sentences.
Yeah, we could call it like No Animals Sky or something.
No Animals Sky. What a fantastic game. Our character today, Mark, is passable. I am grateful for that.
Okay.
It lacks a name.
Right.
But it's got the semblance of something okay in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is something we resign ourselves to on Character Select. When something comes out, not as ridiculous as we might hope, but in a final product state, we are...
Definitely final product.
Definitely.
No iteration left to be done. It's done. Ship it.
So our characters' names,
all right,
you know, blank and blank, Bonnie and Clyde, Meatloaf and Matrimony.
They're delivering the meatloaf.
Yes, yeah. The name of the app is
Meatloaf Me.
With an I, like Meatloaf M-I, Meatloaf Me.
Yeah, there you go.
So their names are Me and Myloaf.
No, that's not their name.
Or actually not.
No.
At all.
Okay, well, it could be something like derivative of Meatloaf because she's like, maybe she was a meatloaf delivery person and discovered this giant creature and is like, I could use this to make this into a thing.
I could expand
I'll call
this.
you Loafy.
Loafy? Yeah.
I don't know.
This is the story of me and Loafy. And then Geraldine.
Okay. It's a good woman's name. Mm-hmm. Geraldine.
And Star Skipper.
Star Skipper I like.
It's actually cool.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's
too
dumb.
cool.
It's dumb. It's all right.
We're just trying to think of like fluffy animal names.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. That's decent. Hey, is she a fluffy animal?
Is she? No.
No.
No. I thought she was a human.
Yeah, she's a human. That's fine. Sophie and the Star Skipper.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it. Write it down. Ship it. Draw it. Brooks, draw it.
Bada bing, bada boom, edit, post, publish, tweet. So after we record this and before you hear it, I will be illustrating Sophie and the Star Skipper. And
Cool.
Mark will be writing a bit of a summary. If you'd like to see those things, head over to Character Design Forge on YouTube if you're not there already. After we hit stop on the record, you'll start to see that play out.
Or if you're just listening to this, there will be a link in the show notes
Exactly.
to take you there.
In the show notes.
Okay, great.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming along on this journey.
Yeah, I had fun.
Mark, thank you for joining me here in my little office.
No problem. I had fun.
Me too.
Weird. Delete it.
Delete the whole thing. Thanks for listening, guys. As you watch the art time-lapse for Sophie and the Star Skipper, here is the bio that Mark's written up. The hit app Meatloaf Me couldn't exist without Sophie Straight and her pet Star Skipper, a massive creature of great depth and emotion. Kept on a steady diet of motivational quotes that it can barely comprehend, the Star Skipper and Sophie run meatloaf deliveries to insatiable populaces on the outermost edge of the solar system. Despite plenty of competition in the interplanetary meal delivery market, they've formed a partnership with the newly discovered Super Speed Bunnies, or SSBs. When arranged in rings, the electrical charge in their fur can launch Sophie and the Star Skipper at high speeds. Confident that their meatloaf supply is secure, humanity can once again turn their attention to colonizing far-off worlds.